Hey guys, I've decided that I'm going to start reciting my poetry and uploading videos of that as well now. So I'm going to start with the poetry that I've written for school and like in my classes, like my creative writing classes and all of that. Not all of them, just like my personal favorites. And from there I'll write the poems that I've written like on my own time and everything. But to start, I'm gonna the poems that I've written in high school, and the first one is called Spoiler Alert, and there's no real background story to this or anything, or prompt. I'm going to start this by spoiling the end. There is no happily ever after, because this doesn't start with once upon a time. No, this starts with a window and a door. There used to be this window that I would always look through. The only problem was that I could never see what was on the other side. But for years I continued to look through this window, just hoping that maybe one day I would no longer be so blind. But you don't always get what you hope for. Instead, the window only continued to fog, and at the same time, so did my eyes. Everything became hazier and hazier, until finally, it all went dark. After that, I felt my way around, or at least I attempted to, but it was like every sense was shutting down on me, and I could no longer find this window or feel its cold glass. I couldn't feel anything. For the longest time, I thought this was punishment for trying to make clear of the other side of this window, and though I could no longer find it, I still tried to walk away from it, but then I would stop, thinking, what if I'm only walking back to it? So, I would just stay in place. Until one day, I opened my eyes again. And it was then that I realized that I had closed on myself for fear of actually learning what it was this window could reveal to me. And when I came to that conclusion, I stepped away from the taunting window. That was when I saw the door. I couldn't believe I had never noticed it before, when it was right there next to this window, when it had been all along. The only thing left to figure out was whether it was locked or not. But before I opened the door, before I even touched it, I just examined it. I looked it up and down, wondering if it would lead me to what the window wouldn't show me. And then I realized how much time I spend wondering, and how watching isn't going to get me anywhere. It hadn't yet, after all. So, I decided to act. I moved my hand to the doorknob, and though I hesitated, I still turned it and it wasn't locked, so I slowly pushed the door open, holding my breath, not knowing what I would discover or if I would actually find anything. Then I released the knob, allowing the door to swing open the rest of the way. Then I stepped through. I was still afraid because of the window. Hell, I was even more afraid, but I wouldn't allow myself to go blind yet again. I looked around the room, observing it, and to my surprise, it was empty. So then it all began to make sense. The window hadn't been misleading because there was nothing to see, and the door was unlocked because there was nothing to hide. So I turned my back on this room. The window had vanished, and the door had shut, locking itself. Now I was trapped inside. I was stuck in this room I had spent years searching for, but was unaware of, even though it was right under my skin. Defeated, I fell to my knees, and I began to wonder again. And as I did, this room began to fill. Not with objects, though. It filled with essence of the body, mind, heart, and soul. With the body there is health and illness, with the mind sleep and wake, with the heart joy and sorrow, and with the soul there is me. Because these were all of the things filling me from the inside out. My blindness had been ignorance. It wasn't blissful though, nor was it my fault, because it's not like I chose to be separated from the truth. That's just how it happened to be. But I was able to change that by accepting the illness my body had, the sleep my mind didn't get, the sorrow my heart did hold, and accepting myself for who I am. So then I sat down in the center of this room. I forgot about the window and I didn't bother with the door, because I was slowly but surely answering the questions I had. Finally, I was in control. Everything I had been wondering before, I no longer had to wonder about, because it wasn't that I couldn't see the other side of this window, but I just wasn't sure about what it was I wanted to see yet. And it took me so long to notice the door, because I wasn't ready to move forward yet. And this room was empty at first, because I only knew what I wanted, not what I actually needed. So there is no happily ever after, because this never truly ends. There are multiple windows with just as many doors, each leading to their own room. A room waiting to be filled, and for a story to unfold.